Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. So today we're gonna go over our breastfeeding experience. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, at least for us, it wasn't a good experience. It was horrible. We did not enjoy it. So let's just bring it up this way. So my boobs they felt really full. I just was not comfortable. They felt very heavy, like the sides of my boobs, like right here. You just, like, once my milk came in, you just feel these like balls, like right here, these like lumps. Like I almost felt like I had like a tumor or something. It just didn't work out for us. I don't know if maybe she just didn't have like a good latch, but there was scabs. Yeah, there was scabs. There was a little bit of bleeding. It just wasn't a good experience. That with being exhausted, having no sleep. She was always hungry. I think she was born hungry. And so I was having to breastfeed all the time, and it just wasn't the best experience when every time you're just like, oh my, like, ow, that hurt. Like you're just, so yes, it hurt very much. Like the little time, like I had no time for anything but breastfeeding, changing diapers, holding her. It was just a never ending cycle. And like, honestly, like probably like by the time that I was done breastfeeding, like it got to the point where I was like, okay, there has to be a different way of being able to like breastfeed her. And so I was like, you know what? I want to breastfeed her because it's obviously like the best option. But with the situation, I was very unhappy. Like I was just very emotional. I was crying like every day because I was in pain. My boobs were just full all the time. I couldn't sleep. Like I couldn't sleep on my sides. My boobs just were, it wasn't comfortable. I couldn't sleep on my sides. And then everyone's gonna be like, well, you sleep on your back. Well, my back was also hurting and it was also in pain. So it was just all of that lumped together that I was like, okay, there's gotta be a different option. So I started pumping, so expressing milk. You know, I was using a Medela pumping style machine, and I was like, okay, this is going to be the solution because I still want to breastfeed her, and now it'll be in a bottle, and instead of attacking my boobs, well, she can attack the bottle, which I was like, thumbs up, right? Well, that was great, but it was a lot more work for me. Let's just put it that way. So it was discouraging, and it was kind of devastating because I would sit on the couch for an hour and a half, 2 hours, trying to pump because I'm thinking, yay, this is going to be the solution. I'm still going to be able to give her breast milk, and now I'll be in less pain. It'll be in a bottle. Well, that was more work for me. It would take an hour and a half, 2 hours to produce like 2 little ounces of milk, and by the time that I was done pumping, breastfeeding, it was, you know, she's crying, oh my gosh, okay, she's hungry. And those 2 little tiny ounces that took me an hour and a half, 2 hours to pump, well, she finished that in like 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. So that's why it was a bit discouraging, I guess I would say, because it was like, it took me this long to produce X amount of milk, and it was just gone like that. Like, it was discouraging because I just felt like it was never going to end. I really wanted to breastfeed her. I feel like there was a lot of pressure, not just on me, but just like in general, like breastfeed, it's the best option. Of course it is, but sometimes it just doesn't always work out for everyone, and it just wasn't a good experience for us. Like I tried different things. I tried putting her in like a better position. I had the boppy thing. It never really worked out for us. I did breastfeed for about a month. No, yeah, a month and a half I breastfed. But it was still just too much. Like, by me still breastfeeding her, but in the bottle, I was creating more work for myself. I wasn't getting any sleep. So that, no sleep, you just had a baby. It just, all of that creates all of these emotions, and it wasn't a good feeling. I was gonna have to go back to work, so I was like, okay, well, if I'm in this much pain now and I'm here at home, like, you know, my home, like sitting on my couch, luxury, I guess, whatever you want to call it, like, how am I going to be when I'm at work and needing to work? So I was like, that's not really gonna work, because if my boobs are engorged and full and I have to pump every 2 hours, every hour and a half, well, I don't have the time at work to stop doing what I'm doing and go and pump, you know, every 2 hours to pump maybe, like, you know, for 40 minutes. I don't have that kind of time, because if I was going to end up doing that, well, I'm not going to be done with my work, which is only going to mean I'm going to stay at work longer, and I have to pick her up at daycare. So I was like, well, that's not going to work. So we had gone to her to one of her appointments, and then the doctor, you know, she had the pediatrician, she had kind of asked me, you know, how's breastfeeding going, yada yada yada, and I was explaining to her, you know, I'm going to be going back to work. This hasn't really been working out. What do you recommend? What do you suggest? She was like, you know, you've already been doing this breastfeeding only for, you know, a month and a half. Like, I think she's fine. That's perfectly fine. You know, she'll be fine. So, okay. So she recommended me just do one less pump a day. So by the time that it was January, so the first week of January, I started doing one less pump a day, which in the beginning it was okay. I was like, okay, I didn't really notice much of a difference. Okay. But then as the days went by, I was doing, you know, again, one less pump. So by the time that it was maybe like 3 pumps or 4 pumps a day, I was in a lot of pain. Like, again, your boobs are just really full. You just feel like you have these big lumps. You can't sleep comfortable, especially on your sides. And then the milk is just like coming out. And of course, you know, you've got the little pad things on to soak up the milk, but those are just getting soaked because you're not pumping. But that's what I had to do. I was in pain for about a week and a half, 2 weeks when I stopped pumping. And so by the time that I had 1 pump or 2 pumps left a day that I was doing, that's when it got really bad. Like, I remember just crying a lot because I was in a lot of pain, but I just knew that I couldn't go back to like continuing to pump just to relieve the pain, because I was like, well, I'm going to be going back to work, and it's not going to be a good scenario. So long story short, we put her on, or we started giving her formula, since that's the only other option other than breastfeeding. We started using Similac Pro Advance. She likes that one. We tried a couple other ones that she didn't like very much, that she like spit out, threw up. So for now, that's what we're sticking with. But that's our experience with breastfeeding. To everyone who can breastfeed for like a full year or longer, kudos to you. That's great. We couldn't do that, unfortunately, but she is fine. She's happy, and mom is happy. So we are happy, right, baby? Yes. And I think she's getting hungry now. So we will see you guys in the next video. Bye.